You see, I've been through what I've called the most embarrassing moment of my life. I mean, have you ever experienced shame such that it feels like you're wearing a shirt? Nobody can help you. Nobody can take that shirt off you. It is what you are living, is what you're experiencing. It's a dress you cannot take off. You cannot shake off. And you see, people go through different shameful situations. For somebody, it's an abortion. For another person, it's a bad breakup from a public relationship. For another person, it's repeating a class. For somebody, it's their looks. Maybe you had an accident. There are different things that could bring us shame. In this video, I share my most embarrassing moment in my life and how I turned my shame into an award-winning story. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Daniela Ukwa, the one, the only Daniela Ukwa that you know. And on this channel, we do everything wholesome content. So if that is your vibe, stick around. In this video, you guys like gist. You want to hear my most embarrassing moment. The beautiful thing about this is that I have healed and gone past it, so I can share it with you. So now let's dive into the story time, because you guys know that when it's time to tell a good story, I'm here for you. Now let's take it back in time. In my secondary school, what most people call high school, right? It was my second year. I was in JSS 2. So I always like to dance. I like pageantry. We used to call it Miss Scruples. And I would go to school, take my sister's clothes, take their shoes, pack everything to school because I needed outfits, what we used to call baths. Do you guys know baths? If you know baths and OG, drop in the comment section if you know baths. Now, I'll take all these clothes with me to school because when you are in secondary school, well, when you're in all-girls secondary school, some days you're playing different characters. Some days you're the bloke, some days you're the babe, some days you're the bandit. So you have to have outfits for different for different scenarios. And then this time around, I had done my JS 1, I was now in JS 2, and I continued this. I could dance, it was all fun and games. Until one day, I had finished writing my exam. You know how you write an exam and you just feel like, you're not ready, you messed up. You really messed up. And I had finished writing my exams, and we're just waiting for time to close. And then it was the day of closing. And usually in my school at that time, when you fail mathematics or English, any of these two subjects, you are automatically repeating. So if you get below 50, you are automatically repeating that class. I was on the assembly ground and they were announcing top 3 in the class, top 3 in the set. Everybody was applauding. Next thing I heard, bottom 3, people who will be repeating a class. I heard my name. Now, on that assembly ground, I was like, shit, I'm going to repeat. Now, before you ask what's the big deal about repeating a class, let me explain to you what my life looked like. I was just in JS 2, like just 2 years into school. So it was very sweet. Now you have people who are your juniors in school. You have just 1 students that you could send. You could call them, come here, what's going on? What's wrong with you? Why are you not doing this? And I didn't realize that I was a bully. Like, when just 1 student heard about me, they were afraid because I was a bully. And now this is me having heard that I'm going to repeat the class. And that day, I remember my dad, staff at his office, came to pick us from school that day. And I remember telling him, Uncle, please, I just got my result and I saw to repeat just 2. And then he looked at my result and he was like, oh, okay, I see you passed everything. And it's just math. I got 48 over 100 in math. And he was like, no problem, now let's go home. I said, please, I cannot go home. My father is going to kill me. If you know my dad, you know that he doesn't stand for anything not excellence. And I begged him, I said, please, I got a piece of paper. I got somebody else to give me a template for writing an undertaking. I told him to help me write an undertaking as my dad, asking them to give me an opportunity to resit that particular subject, math, and that I'm asking for a consideration to move on to the next class if I'm able to pass the receipt. And he submitted the application or the undertaking. Time to go home. I got home. And I showed my dad my results. You guys, that was it. I've not gotten to the meat of the story. And my dad was like, how can my daughter and Ike Onu cannot repeat a class? And I said, it's because of math. Even Please, I already told uncle to help me apply for an undertaking. You applied for an undertaking? You want me to go and beg in the school for you to write math again? No, 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 no. If you were even considered to repeat, the mere fact that your name was amongst those to repeat means that you have to repeat the class and you have to sit up. As if that was not enough, let me now tell you what happened. Normally, my mom wouldn't check my box after school when I come back from school because I was in boarding school. I don't know what happened this day. They open my box. What did they see? Lace up shoes, jeans shorts, jeans skirt, my sister's clothes, my clothes. I was asking, why are you doing all these things in school? How did you carry all these things to school? My mother chased me. She beat. She beat. Hmm. So you think that that's the end, right? I'll just be doing my long vacation. So you close around June-ish, July, and you resume in September. Everything I was thinking of was, God, how am I going to go back and face my juniors that I have bullied? I resume school. I brace myself. And then I carry my bag and they tell me, oh, you're in this dormitory. So when you're repeating, you go into the dormitory that you were in before. So the dormitory of your class. And then as I dragged my box inside, the dormitory was full with the now just one students who are now in just two. Remember, I was repeating just two. As I dragged my box inside, you guys, it was like grave silence. Everywhere became silent immediately. I walked up to an empty bunk and I asked them, is somebody here in this space? And they said, nobody's here yet. And I dropped my bag. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't, like, you know how you can't say a word? It's like, I dropped my bag. And I just said to myself, I need to get out of this place fast. As I left the room, literally walked out of the door, it was like they released, they said, in fact, start to shout. They released the sound. Everybody was shouting, oh my God, yay, oh my days, she's repeating, she's repeating. Can you imagine who deal with her after dealing with us? I didn't know when I started crying. I went to one corner on the corridor and I cried. And I was like, how am I going to do this? Where am I going to start? Am I going to start with an apology? Am I like, how am I going to do this thing? And that was the beginning of my transformation. Now, here's how I dealt with it, and here's how you deal with shame to turn it into a beautiful story. Don't short circuit the process. Now, when you repeat a class in high school, it's very, very shameful because your teachers are seeing you again. Your seniors are seeing you in the same class. Your mates have moved on to the next class. And for me, the next class was a very defining class because that was where you take your junior WIEC, like examinations to become a senior. And you don't have any of that. You're still a junior. What it means is that by the time your mates are in the senior class, you're still a junior. And oh my God, you guys, it is, see, don't ever think that because you are young or somebody is younger than you, the person can experience shame. Shame is a leveler. It is not peculiar to anybody. Everybody can experience shame. But here's what I did. I didn't short circuit the process. So usually what people do when they repeat a class, they just go and save a space in their actual dormitory, but they still leave, eat, and do everything with their actual sets. So imagine you were in just two and your mates are in just three. You put your bags in the dorm of the just two dorm, and you live in the just three dorm. You squat there, you go to dining hall with them, you after your classes, you spend your prep with them and all of that. But I told myself, you see, as I repeated this class, I am going to immerse myself. From that day on, I never went to my mates to say I was going to spend prep in their classes. I never went with them to the dining hall. I immediately made a friend. My bunkmate then was Bumi. I became her friend. We'll go to class together. I started making new friends. I started looking for people who were a bit receptive towards me because it saw some form of remorse and shame. And then I leveraged that. I just started working with them. And then when my friends would ask me, oh, how are you coping? Come now, come and sit with us. Oh, it's sports time. Come and stand with us and play with us. I'm like, don't worry, it's fine. I'm fine here. I immersed myself to the process. The thing about shame is that the reason why you're experiencing shame is to show you a growth point. That is an opportunity for you to grow, develop a thick skin, develop muscle for your life. So don't short circuit the process. Some of us want to, like me, I wanted to apply for an undertaking to receive the course, but my dad said no, go ahead and repeat the class. Experience this shame. And that was the one decision that transformed my life forever. Whenever people ask me, name one key decision in your life, that day or that experience is one key decision in my life. So don't short circuit the process. If you feel like you've gotten pregnant and don't get an abortion, go through it, go through the process, find out why. So for instance, if you just got laid off your job, don't short circuit the process. Maybe trying to beg your way back, or maybe you're caught for fraud in the office, trying to like beg your way back. Go back and take it upon yourself. Why did I do this? Not why was I caught? Why did I do this? Why wasn't I serious in school? Why did I fail math? And guess what I realized? Doing this research helps me because I realized that number one, I deserve to repeat. I was with the wrong crew. 80% of my friends in my JS2 were repeaters. And so I didn't realize that I was building a community of people who were unserious. And I loved it because it spoke to my playful side. But it didn't teach me how to be disciplined, how to understand that you have a goal, there's an exam coming, you're supposed to pass this exam, you're supposed to start reading, prepare for your exam. But what undergoing the process did for me was that it helps me to see my lapses, and I started building a new community. The second thing that you can do whenever you feel shame is stop holding on to your shame. Don't put it as a stamp on your shoulder. Oh, I'm a repeater. I remember people saying I'm a repeater. I never for once called myself a repeater. Never. Never. Don't say, oh, I'm a thief. I was caught stealing. I'm a thief. Or I'm the girl that they broke up with publicly. Or I'm the girl that got stained in the bus. Like, don't wear your shame as a cloak. Don't wear it as a badge and hold on to it. What you do with that story is that you have to fast forward into your future. Now, I made this mistake, right? I ruined my marriage. I didn't do the things I'm supposed to do. But what does my future look like? Oh, my future looks like someone who has grown past it, invested in herself, invested in her mind, in her spirit, in her body, put in the work to be a better version of herself. Now, who is this woman? Think about her. What are the things that she likes? Who are the kind of friends that she keeps? What are the things that she watches? Start doing it now. And that's what I did. I went back to my class. And I remember my class teacher was still the class teacher from my previous class. And she was like, I knew you were going to repeat. But guess what? I became her top 3 students, top 3 best students. I became the tightness captain. Before then, I never led anything in school. And that was how I became a leader. That was how my leadership journey started, because I defined and I redefined the kind of future that I wanted. I did. In fact, if you ask me, you will never know I repeated the class unless you knew my friends, unless you knew me before, because I just assimilated under the school of recovery and allowed it to have its proper work unique. So chart a new course for yourself. Don't hold on to that story, right? There's something bigger. There's so much about you other than that shame. And it's okay not to share your story until you have healed, right? So don't hold on to it. Don't let it define your public perception. Don't let it define how you view yourself. Don't let it be the lens in which you view yourself, your shame. So everything has to border around, oh, I had a child out of wedlock. No, 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 no. Oh, I am this and I am this. I'm going to study this. I'm planning to take up a career in data analytics. I'm growing. I'm thriving. That is the real you. That is the you have to hold on to. See, embrace it with all that you've got. Don't let it go. And then finally, begin to write your future. What does your future you look like? What does it look like when you have healed? I'm not saying, erase that part of your life. What does the future you look like? Who are the people that can benefit from your shame? How confident do you want to feel talking about your experience? How do you want your children to learn from your experiences? This particular tip changed my life. I had new friends. I started thinking about leadership, right? So I knew that I didn't want to be that girl who was always playing. I still love to dance. I would dance, but guess what? When it's time to read, when it's time to show up in class, I would show up. I became extremely neat. I thought to myself, what kind of person do I want to be? I want to be a neat girl. I want to be someone who is principled. And I started doing that. And before I go, in fact, I was nominated to be a prefect in SS3. If I continued in that previous trajectory, I probably would have even gotten pregnant in high school, because the environment that I was in would have been like, there was no way that greatness would have come out of those kind of disciplines that I exposed myself to. So determine your future and build the disciplines today. Sometimes you need shame to shake you up. You need shame to help you to see that some things are not quite right. You need to grow here. And I believe that God did that particular thing in my life to realign me. That particular incident made me change my friends. Some of my closest friends today are the friends I made in my new set. It was a destiny defining moment for me. But if I did not go through the process and think about the fact that I am not my shade, I am not a repeater, I am not my experiences, I wouldn't have gone through it and come out strong enough to be able to tell you this story. So your shame is currency for greatness. I want you to think about how you can maximize that experience that you're trying to hide. How can you grow past it? How can you say, take an audit to say, why did I even go through this process initially? Why was I even considered to be fired? Why was I, think about it and think about the new story you want to write.